logic and emotion support your position and to avoid losing notes. Once again, the time is 5 to 7 minutes, and the Mayorix is going to be talking to us about how deep can you dig. Please help me to welcome Lee.
Are you crazy? What are you thinking? These are the types of questions I get these days from my friends and my loved ones. I want to know, why do I keep on putting myself in these difficult situations? Why not just take life easy and relax? The thing is, like Robbie, I love Euros. The Euro faces insurmountable odds and reaches in somewhere deep and pulls something out and combats adversity and achieves their goal. Battered and bloodied, they will win, they will persevere. The famous Wikipedia defines a hero as a character that, when faced with danger, through feats of bravery and courage and strength, will overcome adversity. How do they do this? I want to find out. Fellow guests and ToastMasters, there's a saying that, how do you know what your limits are if you haven't actually stepped over the edge? If you haven't stepped over the edge, there's always another inch to go. So how many of us actually know what our limits are? I wanted to find out. So I was going to put myself in a bunch of uncomfortable situations where I'll be forced to face my fears and see how close to that edge I could come. Bang! How do you react to danger? If someone was attacking you, how would you react? This is like going to boxing. I entered a boxing charity event to face my fear of getting hit. You're alone in that ring. In the ring with someone that actually wants to hit you. You are so tired you can barely think. There's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. And there my fear became real. I got hit hard and multiple times. At that moment, I realized within myself that I could actually take the punishment. My opponent represented, like I think many of us, our life can knock us around. Digging deep, I gritted my teeth, looked at my opponent, and I fought back. I realized that I decided I was going to choose fight over flight. I survived the ordeal and grew a love for the sport. I unlocked a part of myself and took a step towards that edge. I have an immense fear of the ocean, and specifically drowning. The thought of not being able to take a breath and not being in control is absolutely terrifying. So to face my fear, I decided I would attend my scuba certification in Mozambique. I was fortunate enough to have someone join me with similar fears. Thank you, Claire. The place was unbelievably beautiful, with spectacular beaches and warm water. We breezed through the training in the pool, and that afternoon, on the first day, we went out to the ocean to do our first dive. And then my fears became real. The day turned dark and gloomy, waves were large and choppy, and I had a lump in my throat as we had to fall back into the ocean from the boat. The swells were so large, I couldn't even find my scuba buddy. Eventually, we started to descend, and I panicked. I couldn't equalize. 3 times, I had to come back to the surface before I could actually reach the ocean floor. And then more things went wrong. My mask flooded and didn't want to clear. There were also a couple of hair-raising moments where I couldn't get air. During these moments of panic, I realized something else. Like in life, there's a lot of things I cannot control. What I can control is how I react to them. Digging deep, I found within myself some peace, that I can focus on the moment and fix the problem at hand. There's not only unlocked a whole new world to explore under the ocean, but also a new perspective on how to approach life. I took another step towards that edge. Having discovered so much about myself, I decided to take a plunge and really test my limits. The wild goes wild run, where I would experience one of the world's most beautiful and unspoiled coastlines, all the way from Mouth to Hole in the Wall. It would take place only 3 weeks after Kilimanjaro. There is no route, only a general guideline to keep the ocean on your right. Yes, this way. 118 kilometers of trail running on over 3 days, and it's on sand, rock, and cow trails. Basically a marathon a day. Funny enough, I've never run a marathon before. And I'm definitely not the build of a runner. I would be on my own, and it would test the absolute limits of my physical and mental strength. The first day was 46 kilometers, and I reached my breaking point at 34 k's. Devastated, I just sat down and started eating my jelly babies. I was completely exhausted and ready to give up. I looked down the beach, and I saw these singular tracks of footprints leading down the sand. I took a deep breath, stood up, and decided, not yet. One stride at a time, one step at a time, 1 inch at a time, I will move forward. I finished that day in a grueling 7 hours, but I made it. I realized over the next 2 days, I somehow managed to continue, and each day I hit similar breaking points. I realized that life can look impossibly tough sometimes, but just keep going. Somehow I'll make it. I took another step towards that edge. I believe in heroes. I believe for what they stand. Something that we as a society, I think, are losing. We are very comfortable living our safe lives, not pushing ourselves. We put limits on ourselves. I'm trying my best to break through these limits, to discover what I can do and what I am made of. At each point, at each limit, I've realized a lot about myself and found confidence to actually push myself even further. There's one wish I could have, and that is that everybody could have the chance to see how deep they can dig and see how far they can go. I believe that they will find a depth of potential they never thought possible. There's someone tonight doing the first ToastMasters speech and face their fear. Don't stop there. Find a shovel. Start digging.
Never ceases to amaze me how there's always a new adventure that you take us on.